Thanks, Bill. So if the uninsured do not sign up for health coverage by midnight tonight, they could be facing some heavy fines. But how aggressive can we expect the government to be in collecting those fines? And is the IRS up to the task? Lou Dobbs, the host of Lou Dobbs Tonight, joins us live. Lou, thank you very much for joining us.
Great to be with you, Elizabeth.
So for an overview, when will this penalty hit folks, just so they know, and how exactly is it going to work?
Okay, what we need to do is to explain in full context what Obamacare amounts to right now, Elizabeth. That is, they have failed on their numbers. We don't know any of the important metrics whatsoever, like the percentage of uninsured in this country who are now insured as a result. We don't know how many of these so-called 6 million enrollees are really just sign-ups, how many of them actually have paid their first month's premium or their premium overall. Is to the penalties, because there's been so much discussion of this. In fact, there is no criminal or civil penalty associated with the mandate as of right now. The Internal Revenue Service has received another $1.5 billion to enforce the law, but has no way in which really practically to do so. There's no provision for tax liens. There is no way to force someone to pay this penalty, despite all of the discussion that we've heard for 4 years about mandates and the penalties. Whether there will be, ultimately, we don't know. But as of right now, as this law is moving into its final stages of a deadline, I don't know how else to say that, Elizabeth. March 31st just isn't the day we thought it would be. And there is no way right now for this government to enforce these penalties without creating just a massive public relations nightmare and perhaps even civil unrest.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm confused about, because there's a lot of people that are exempt. So how do you know if you're exempt, and how will they decipher who is exempt and who is not exempt?
Elizabeth, it may be that I have been reporting on this too long, working with it too much, but I have to laugh at this law. I have to laugh at this administration that is utterly incapable of doing anything, it seems right. These folks, from the CMS to the Health and Human Services to the administration, the White House itself, these people could screw up a vacant lot. The fact is, there is no penalty. There is no way forward for them right now. This is a law and a system that is not even truly set up, and it's taken them 4 years to get to this point of utter failure. I just don't know what to say. There's no reason to take it seriously at this point, because there is no way to compel compliance.
So in your opinion, at this point, is there a possibility that we'll see another delay and that people will not have to pay either that $95 fine or that 1% of their income when tax returns come out?
Let me give you this guarantee. There is no way that will happen. There is no way that there won't be other delays. There is no way that there won't be further problems. There is no way, as the president himself said, that future historians will forgive this administration, this government, for being so utterly incompetent in trying to execute a massively complex law that was so poorly designed that even if this government were capable of being managed, that they could have done so.
Okay, I want to switch focus a little bit, go from macro to micro, and I want to talk about the state of Maryland, my home state actually. The rollout there has been a disaster. Tomorrow a board will look to vote to abandon the website and start fresh, but we know that website has already cost more than $125 million. So where did all that money go and what went wrong?
Well, it went to somebody's buddy, to be real honest. I mean, what we're watching is this administration, the Democratic Party in this country, seem to have converged around the idea of crony socialism. It's madness what we have watched occur. There are instances of success with these exchanges, but Maryland is an instance of just laughable failure. It turns out, after having spent over $125 million, not to include marketing, that they're going to have to turn to another state, most likely Connecticut, and pick up their software from that website, which it's estimated will cost another $30 million to piggyback on top of that software. So Governor O'Malley has just, this is a man who wants to be president. He can't be governor, for crying out loud. So, by virtue of the template that the Obama administration's put together, maybe he would be a natural. But the reality is, it raises the other question. Why didn't each one of these states use the same software? It's the digital age. Put in the software, you have your architecture, you have your system, and by the way, you reduce your cost by 49/50 if every state were to have signed up for it.
And what type of precedent does it set? I mean, what type of, if Maryland can just scrap 125 million, start over another 30 million, what type, I mean, that's a big precedent, no?
It's a very big precedent, but the precedent really started with Oregon, where they couldn't get anything done at all and actually spend even more money. So there's greater efficiency at failure state to state, and primarily they're Democratic states that are woefully inadequately led and horribly managed.
Lou Dobbs, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be with you.
Have a great day.
You too.
So, such a great speech or talk.
The death toll rise.